Alright, welcome back. We have a new brew for Pioneer. It's not very scientific, it is straight up red-green beats. Brought to you by Power Creep. The concept for the deck is to just play a bunch of very cheap 4-powered creatures. And so, let's see what the deck is made of. So we have our mana dorks, we have Llanowar Elves and Elvish Mystic. Then you can turn to Blood Rage Brawler, which is the 4/3, and it has to have you discard a card when it comes into play. Other 3-drops you can play on turn 2 with the help of Llanowar Elves include Bone Crusher Giant, which also has the Stomp half for extra damage and make sure damage can't be prevented. We also have the Giant Cindermaw, 4/3 built-in trample, built-in players can't gain life, might be useful in some matchups. We also have Outcaster Trailblazer. Make sure you keep filling your hand with cards. 4/2. Also, when it enters, you get another mana of any color, which could be useful for playing another elf or a hard-hitting question. We also have Garruk's Harbinger, hexproof from black, so some decks might have difficulty with that, but when it connects you can also put another creature into your hand from the top 3 cards of your deck. And lastly we have Miglow's the Maze Crusher. Comes into play with oil counters, and those oil counters might be useful to do other things. Also, our 3-drop is Ronus the Indomitable, a 5/5 Death Touch indestructible, and it can also give your other creatures +2/+0 and trample. So the goal, as you can see, is to play out some big creatures, attack with them a couple times, and then win. In addition to the 2 of Ronus, we have 2 of the Samut the Tested. The main feature of this is to give one of your 4-powered creatures double strike until end of turn. It also doubles as an excellent removal device, so the 2 damage can be directed at players or creatures and split as well. There is a -7 if that is something that you would like to do too. It also runs the Great Henge, not necessary, but I have one in my collection. But otherwise, if you did not have this in your collection, it might be a much more cost-effective deck. But this card will help you gain life, draw cards, and make your creatures come into play bigger. The mana base is pretty self-explanatory. I don't have the full complement of playsets for the appropriate lands, but we're still doing pretty good. Copperline Gorge, Karplusan Forest, Stomping Ground. We're also running Ether Hub as an extra dual land as well. We got a Boseiju for another way to get rid of a card. Again, this is not necessary because if you have this card on paper or on Arena, fantastic. If you don't, the deck is still good without it. Now we have our sideboard. So we can outcast our Trailblazer into our Lithomantic Barrage, which is great against those pesky blue-white control-y decks, or those blue-white aggro decks as well. I am a fan of the instant speed graveyard removal, so turn the earth since this deck is green. We have the Crowan War as a way to shenanigans out some damage and steal your opponent's creatures. Good for the mid-rangey matchups. We have Alpine Moon for Lotus Field combo. We also have Brotherhood's End as a way to deal with artifacts or those fast creatures that flood the board. Lastly, we have Gruul Spellbreaker, also against control, just a way to sneak in some hasty damage, and also has trample and hexproof during your turn. So there you have it. Red-green Gruul beats. It's as simple as it gets. Play your creatures and then turn them sideways. Thanks for watching.